Hey guys, Mr. Wiz here with another fun video. We're going to be building some more with MakeCode Arcade. So in today's lesson, we are not looking at new information necessarily. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using some old information in a new way. So we've been building tile maps recently. Behind me is the code for the Mario world in our most recent lesson. So we built tile maps two different ways. We had the side scroller, which is what I have here, and then we also did a top-down tile map game, which I just called Tile Map Program. For today's lesson, you can use either one of these. It doesn't matter. It's going to work the same way either way. So just go ahead and grab one. I'm going to use the Mario game since that's the one I most recently have worked with. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be using variables, we're going to be using functions, and we're going to be using tile maps to create a multi-level game so that when we finish the level, it'll instantly teleport us to the next level. So this is going to be a great way to build large games, not just in size, but in ability, right? So you're going to be changing from one world to the next, and you can build as many levels as you want. This is a great way to make your games much larger. Okay, so to do this, first off, there's more than one way to do this. When it comes to coding, one of my favorite things about coding is that there's often more than one way to conquer a problem, right? So the way that I'm going to show you is the way that I feel is the most efficient way to build a multi-level game, but you may decide to go your own route with it, okay? So feel free when you're building your own games to do it your own way, but for this video, I'm going to recommend you follow my pattern and see how easy it is, because that's the goal. Remember, a good coder is a lazy coder, so we want to save ourselves time and work, and this is a great way to make it as simple as possible, okay? So first thing I need to decide is when do I want to be able to switch levels. That's really going to be up to you. For this game, just to keep it simple, I'm going to have a door at the end of the level, and that door at the end of the level will basically mark the end of the level, right? So in this case, since I'm doing a side scroller game, a door would make the most sense. If you're doing the top-down game, you might decide to use stairs or something like that, especially if you're doing a dungeon game. Stairs would make a lot of sense because when you finish the dungeon level, you use the stairs, and now you're maybe deeper in the dungeon, right? So you're on a whole nother level. So think about what you want to use to mark the end of your level. In your own games, you might not want to do it that way. You might want to have the levels end when you collect all the points or when you defeat all the enemies. So there's other ways you can kind of conquer this, but for this video, we're just going to use a tile as the ending point that will change levels. Now, because we're going to be changing levels multiple times, we're going to be using essentially the same code multiple times. This is a great example of when we would want to use a function. So let's go ahead and create a function. I'm going to click the advanced button. I'm going to go to functions. I'm going to make a new function, and let's just call this run level, and I'm capitalizing each new word so I know what it is. Now, we are going to have to keep track of what levels there are, level 1, level 2, level 3, so on and so forth. So I'm also going to add a parameter to this for the number, and the number will represent the, I'm going to put level number so I know what it stands for, right? So that makes sense. We'll go ahead and create that. So I've got the beginning of a function here, which whenever I run it, it'll take me to the correct level, right? So let's go ahead and create the variable that will keep track of our level numbers. So I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call the new variable we're just going to call it level. All right, set level 2. At the beginning of the game, when the game first starts, what level should the player be on? Probably level 1. Unless there's like an intro story or something that happens before the game starts, it would make sense to start it with level 1. So I'm going to go ahead and set level to 1 at the beginning. And then this stuff right here is what's creating my level. I've got the tile map, I've got the background color, I've got the background image, I've got the players, all that stuff. So let's go ahead and move some of this into our function. Now, I don't want to recreate the player every time, so that's not going to be in the function, but this stuff probably will be. Now, this is all part of level 1, though, so I don't want this to happen every time, but we'll fix that in a second. Okay, so you'll notice when the game started, the stuff's not there anymore. Why is the stuff not there? I put it in this function, but what did I forget to do? Remember, creating a function is not the same thing as using a function. We learned that a while back, right? Creating a function is not the same thing as using one. To use the function, I need to go back to the function section, and I need to call run level. So I'm going to put that where the blocks were, right here. Call run level, and and it has the number 1 there. So it's running level 1, but I could also use the variable. And I can put that there since the variable is 1. So it doesn't really matter in this case. But yeah, and there we go. It created the level, and it's working like it's supposed to. Woohoo. All right. So going back to this section, I want it to create this tile map and this information when level equals 1. What is that starting to sound like? When the level equals 1, I need it to do this. Or if the level equals 1, I need it to do this. You see where I'm going with this? This is a logic. So I'm going to put a logic in here. I'm going to put the stuff inside the logic, and I'm going to put in there the equal block. So if, and this is where I'm going to use my parameter that I created. So if that level number that I put in there is equal to 1, then it's going to create this stuff. So now what do I do for level 2? Well, very easily, I can just hit the plus sign there, and I can set the stuff for level 2. So, well, I have else. Let's do plus again, because I want to use another condition. If it equals 2, and now I'm going to create a new tile map, right? So let's go ahead and grab a new tile map. And I'll set this one to, what did we do to the last one? 50 and 8, I think is what we did the last one. I'll make it the same size as the other one. And we'll do a similar setup, right? So this one will have grass on the floor. Oop. I'm just going to make this real quickly because I don't want to spend a lot of time designing the levels. Of course, for your game, you can make them however you want to. Now keep in mind, the My Tile section still has the stuff we made before, which is pretty nice. So I can use some bricks just like I had before. I can use some more treasure boxes like we did before. Right, so, oh, I got some bushes and some clouds I could put in there like we did in the last level. So I'm just making a new level that kind of uses the same similar tiles to what we did in the last one. All right, so I've got a nice level 2 there. Now I could, of course, create a new background image and a new background color if I wanted to. You know what? Let's leave the background image the same because I kind of like those mountains, but I'm going to grab a new background color. Instead of being light blue, maybe this time it'll be a darker blue. Yeah, there we go. So maybe it's like later in the day or something. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I've got when level equals 2, this is what I want to happen. So when is level going to equal 2? Because right now, in my game, there is no end to this level yet, right? So when I get to the end of the map, nothing happens, right? So I need to create something at the end of the map here that I can go into that will trigger level 2. So let's go back to the original tile map. And let's go to My Tiles. And I'm just going to go ahead and create real quick a like door type thing. Boom, boom, boom. Now, of course, you guys know by now I'm no artist. So you could probably make something nicer than what I'm making here. But we'll just use that as the marker for the end of the map. And I'm going to put one right there. All right. So now what I need to do is create an overlap code for that tile. So I have overlap codes for when he hits the wall. I don't have anything right now for this scenario. So let's go to the tile map section. And when the player overlaps with, and I got to put that in there, right? So when the player overlaps with, remember in MakeCode, you can put this code anywhere you want to, right? It doesn't need to connect to anything. So when the player overlaps with that What do I want to happen? Well, I want the function to get run again, but I also want the level to change. Change level by 1 and run level with the variable. So the nice thing about this is this will work no matter how many levels I have. So on level 1, when he hits it, level becomes 2 and it runs level 2. On level 2, when he hits it, the variable level will become 3 and it runs level 3. Make sense? So I could have 10, 20, 50 levels, and this code will work on all of them if I have the same exit door on all the levels. All right, so let's test it out. Right now I only have an exit door on level 1, but let's just make sure it works. So I'm walking to the end, walking to the end. Now, of course, if you really want to go Mario with it, you might want to use a flag or something. Oh, okay, it worked. I'm on the new level. Of course, there are some problems. I spawned at the end of the level instead of the beginning of the level. Also, it looks like I forgot to make walls out of this stuff. So I need to edit that level too. Okay. So let's just real quickly make those walls that I forgot to make. We'll make the floor, we'll do the bricks, and then we'll do the treasure boxes as well. There we go. I think I got them all. All right, so that should fix the tile map. Now, here's the problem. I need him to spawn at the beginning of the map, not at the end of the map. So I'm going to add something new to my function here. Whenever he creates a level, I need it to change his starting position. So right now, I don't actually have a starting position for my guy. So this would be a good time to put one in here. So I'm going to put at the end of all the logics, we're going to use the scene block, and we're going to put sprite on top of. Now I need to create, because I don't have one yet, I need to create a starting tile. So let's go to the very first tile map and let's create a starting tile. So what should he come out of? What should he start at? Maybe a little house or something. I don't know. I'm not super artsy, but let's see what we can come up with. Maybe I think the idea of a little house is not a bad idea. What if I give him like a little roof here? I'm going to erase some of these. Oh, that's not the eraser. That's the eraser. There we go. Got a little roof. And then what color should I make the house? I'm just throwing this together real quick, y'all. If I want to get fancy with it, I'd spend more time on it. Maybe give it a little window. Oh, I like that window better. All right, I said I wasn't going to spend much time on it, but I'm already spending more time than I was planning on. All right, I'm going to copy this with Control-C, Control-V to paste, and now I got a second window. I love using shortcuts, because remember, a good coder is a lazy coder. Shortcuts can make your games a lot quicker and easier to make. Oh, that's too... Nah, we'll leave it like that. Okay, and then I'll do a little door at the bottom. Do a little black opening, like an open door. There we go. And that will be the starting block. So I'm going to put that here at the beginning of the level. And I'm going to do the same thing with the second level. So the second level, I'm going to have the same starting block. And I'm going to put the same ending block. And then when the function runs, whenever the function runs and it creates a level, it will spawn the player at that starting block. All right, let's see if this works. It didn't work. Did I do something wrong? Let's place my sprite on top of random. Oh, because for the first level, the dude wasn't created yet. So I actually have to move this function to after he gets created. Okay, let's try it now. There we go. It worked. So he spawned at the door. Of course, the roof matches with the mountains, so I should probably change the color of the roof. But let's get to level 2. And let's see if it sets me back to the beginning of the... Yep, it did. It worked. It works. We have a multi-level game. And I want you to notice that all the coding that we did in the first level still works here. So when I touch the treasure boxes, they still work the same way they did in level 1. So really building the second level was just as simple as building the tile map. And okay, when I ended it, it took me back to level 2 because I haven't created a level 3 yet, right? So now the great thing about this, now that I have this working, I could build as many levels as I wanted to simply by adding more stuff to this if block. And now I create a tile map 3 and, you know, keep going from there. So once you have the function working correctly, you could build this game as big as you wanted to. I'll use this one for the floor this time. There we go. And then I'll use the same sort of tiles we were using before. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. But you know, it might be fun. Maybe I mix it up a little bit here. And I can do... I'll do stairs like I did the first time, but make it a little fun by putting some treasure boxes there that he has to try to get to. Oh, that's too high. I don't know if he'll be able to reach those or not, but all right, can't forget the starting tile and the ending tile, right? Those are important. So literally, once your function is working correctly, the rest of this is easy because all you got to do is build the tile map. Throw some clouds in here. Oh, I can't forget to make my walls work correctly, right? So all my blocks that are supposed to be walls need to be made into walls, and anything that's not supposed to be walls needs to be left alone. All right, cool, cool, cool. So what do I want to happen at the end of level 3? Let's say that I wanted to stop here. Let's say that I want this game to only be 3 levels. Well, once he hits that door for the last time, it'll change the level by 1, so it'll now be level 4. And I'll run the function again, but I don't have a if level number equals 4, which means the else will happen, right? So this would be a great place for me to just put a game over. Or I could put a game over with a message, right? So let's see if this works. If I did this correctly, it should play 3 levels. And then after the 3rd level, I should get a game over win. Here we go. So this is level 1. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. Get to the end. Now I'm in level 2. Everything still works. Get to the end of level 2. I'm now on level 3. Did I forget to put treasure boxes? Oh, there they are at the end. I forgot I put them there. Oh, I can reach them all. Cool. I wasn't sure if those would be too tall for me. Cool, cool, cool. All right. And get to the end, and it wins, but with the best score because it kept track of my scores. So there we go. I just built a 3-level game rather quickly. And as I mentioned, because the function's already built, I could easily make this a 5-level game, a 10-level game, a 20-level game. All I would have to do is just keep adding more to the else ifs and put more numbers in here with more tile maps. And keep in mind, I could also, while I'm changing the tile maps, I could also be changing the background or the background color, right? So maybe one of these is a nighttime scene, and I change the background image to, maybe I want it to be darker with a picture of the moon. I could draw a little moon in the corner here, right? That's a terrible moon. But you guys get the idea. I should probably just do a circle for the moon since I don't know how to draw moons. But you guys get the idea. So I could literally have the background color and everything change with every level, and I could keep going, but I don't have to. So there's a lot of creative freedom here. So if you haven't already, I would recommend you go ahead and start editing one of your Tilemap games, either this one or the top-down game. Build some levels onto it, as many as you want to. Have fun with it. And then if you haven't already edited it in other ways, I would definitely start doing so. Think about what is going to be the goal of your player. Are there going to be enemies in your game that they have to fight? Or maybe they're just trying to avoid. Maybe they're trying to run away from the enemies. Maybe they don't want to fight them. Maybe your game is all about speed. Maybe they have to get to the end of the level before time runs out. Maybe you have a countdown and they have to get to the end of the level before that countdown ends. You can get super, super, super creative with these guys. You really, really can. So I would love to see what you make with your multi-level games. And then once you have it working correctly, please go ahead and share it with me by clicking on that share button, naming your program, hit share project, copy the link, and post it in the comments. If you learned something new today, please hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And don't forget to let your friends and family know about this channel so they can build fun games too. All right. I'll see you next time.